Stop! Stop the video right there. I just have to stop the video right here to say, if there's somebody out there somewhere that doesn't know, don't drink brake fluid. It's poison. But my car had a problem with drinking brake fluid, and what happened is I would be out driving my car late at night through a neighborhood. You know, I deliver newspapers, and the brake light would come on the dash, and I would get out and check the brake fluid, and yeah, the reservoir's low. And I always try to be prepared, so I would have a bottle of brake fluid in the back of the car, so I would fill the reservoir back up to the full line. But then I would think, you know, why don't I grab the flashlight and go to every wheel and see if I can find somewhere that brake fluid came out. And I couldn't find anywhere that it had leaked the brake fluid out. So the brakes were just fine. I didn't have any problem with the brakes. So, you know, unlike some people that might just keep driving when that light comes on, me, I get out and check the brakes. I guess if you continued with that past, you know, if you kept going even though you saw the brake light, it might eventually run into you're getting air in the system and you don't have brakes anymore. But this went on for months and months, where just out of the blue the brake light would come on and the reservoir would be down, you know, really low. I would put more brake fluid back in it, and I never could find where it was coming from or where it was going to. So I started noticing as I would make a hard left-hand turn that the engine lifters would start rattling and the engine would lose power, and then I would notice this cloud of smoke. You know, for a while there I thought, what in the world could be causing that? Where you only make a left-hand turn real hard and it does that. You know, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it would. So one day I was pulling down my driveway, making a hard left turn, and it did it again right in the driveway. And I thought, well, you know, I better pop the hood and see if I can see something. There's something weird going on here. And so I examined the smoke by sniffing the tailpipe, and it didn't smell like burning oil. It didn't smell like, you know, gas fumes, like it's running rich. It was weird, and I thought, well, wait a minute, that smells like brake fluid. Hope I'm not boring you with this story. Probably most people know what's going on here. So I decided, you know, this master cylinder has like 600,000 miles on it. Maybe I should go ahead and change it. I kind of suspect maybe it's leaking into the brake booster, and the vacuum from the engine is sucking it right into the intake manifold and down the engine's throat. Thus, the car had a brake fluid drinking problem. So as you can see, pulling this master cylinder off, there's a lot of brake fluid in there. Believe it or not, I've probably driven at least over 1 million miles, maybe more, in the last 30 years. And I've had master cylinders go out on different vehicles, but I never had one just leak it right into the brake booster and suck it down the engine. Well, that's what happened, and so let me get into brake bleeding. I've heard different people say you should start at the closest wheel cylinder or caliper, you know, the front driver's side, closest to the master cylinder. And I've heard people say, no, you should start at the right rear, the rear passenger side wheel cylinder. Bleed that first and then work your way closer to the front. You know, bleed the one closer to the master cylinder and work your way to the back. So for this video, I thought I would just look at a manual and see exactly what the manual says. I don't know what to think about this. I've been doing it wrong for years, but it's always worked fine for me doing it the way I do it. I looked at 2 different books. It said, you know, after you find yourself an assistant to pump the brakes, you should start bleeding the right rear, the rear passenger side hydraulic wheel cylinder. But get this, then after you get the air out of that one, the right rear, the rear passenger side, then it says proceed to the left front, which is the driver's side. You get the air out of that. Then proceed to the left rear wheel and get the air out of that. Then proceed to the right front, the front passenger side. Get the air out of that. That's what several repair manuals said when I looked it up. I don't know. Uh-oh. I think we're about to have an air raid here. I don't know, you may not even be able to hear that. But anyway, how I do it is I start at the front driver's side, closest to the master cylinder, and I work my way out. The closest all the way to the most far away. The driver's side front, passenger side front, and then the driver's side rear, and then the passenger side rear. I picture myself working the air out from the closest to the master cylinder all the way to the wheel farthest from the master cylinder. There may be some people out there that say, oh no, that's wrong. Well, it's worked for me. Brakes work fine when I do it that way. But please comment below and share with everyone how you do it or how you think you're supposed to do it. That's just an interesting question because I've heard people say several different ways to do it. Just want to share some little car things with you here, and thank you for watching. Okay, this is the rear passenger side wheel, the farthermost from the master cylinder. Pump. Hold. Pump. Hold. Pump. Hold.